Hello and welcome, friends. Today, we are diving deep into the story of one of the greatest military leaders in human history, Alexander the Great. This is not just a history lesson. This is a powerful journey through time, full of ambition, courage, strategy, betrayal, and legacy. Whether you're here to improve your English or to learn about one of the most fascinating men who ever lived, you're in the right place. So sit back, relax, and let's travel over 2,300 years into the past to discover the unstoppable empire of Alexander the Great. Alexander was born in 356 BCE in Pella, the capital of the kingdom of Macedon, located in northern Greece. His father, King Philip II, was a brilliant military leader who united the Greek city-states under Macedonian rule. His mother, Olympias, was a passionate and spiritual woman who often told young Alexander that he was descended from gods, Hercules, and even Achilles. From the very beginning, Alexander was special. He was not only brave and physically strong, but he was also intelligent. His tutor was the famous Greek philosopher Aristotle, who taught him literature, science, medicine, and philosophy. Alexander developed a deep love for Homer's Iliad, and he believed that he too, like Achilles, was born for greatness. When Alexander was only 12 years old, he showed extraordinary courage by taming a wild horse named Bucephalus, a horse no one else could ride. His father, King Philip, proudly said, "My son, Macedonia is too small for you. Seek a kingdom that is worthy of you." He would soon do just that. In 336 BCE, when Alexander was just 20 years old, his father was assassinated. Some believe Olympias was involved, others suspect political rivals. Regardless, Alexander became king of Macedon. The kingdom was on the edge of collapse. Many Greek city-states like Thebes and Athens rebelled, thinking the young king was weak. But they were wrong. Alexander immediately took charge. He crushed the rebellion in Thebes, destroying the city to send a message. Do not challenge Macedon. After securing his homeland, Alexander set his sights on a much bigger prize: the Persian Empire. The Persian Empire, ruled by King Darius III, was the largest empire in the world at that time, stretching from modern-day Turkey to Egypt and India. But Alexander believed that the time had come for the East to meet the West under one rule, his rule. In 334 BCE, Alexander crossed the Hellespont, now called the Dardanelles, into Asia with around 40,000 soldiers. At the Battle of Granicus, he met and defeated a much larger Persian force. This was only the beginning. Next, he conquered Sardis, Ephesus, and Miletus. The Greek cities in Asia Minor welcomed him as a liberator. In 333 BCE, Alexander faced Darius himself at the Battle of Issus. Though outnumbered, Alexander used brilliant tactics, striking directly at Darius and forcing him to flee the battlefield. Alexander had won again. By 332 BCE, Alexander turned south and entered Egypt. The Egyptians had long been under Persian control, but they hated Persian rule. When Alexander arrived, they welcomed him as a liberator and soon declared him a pharaoh, a living god. In Egypt, he founded one of the most famous cities in history, Alexandria, which would become a center of learning and culture. He also visited the Oracle of Amun in the Siwa oasis, deep in the desert. The oracle told him what he always believed deep down. He was the son of a god. With this divine blessing, Alexander turned back east to face Darius once more. In 331 BCE, Alexander met Darius again at the Battle of Gaugamela, near modern-day Iraq. This was the most important battle of Alexander's career. Darius had gathered a massive army, perhaps 200,000 men. Alexander had only about 50,000. But numbers didn't matter. With perfect tactics and a surprise attack at the Persian center, Alexander once again forced Darius to flee. Darius would soon be killed by his own men, and Alexander became the king of Persia. He had done what no Greek had ever done. He had conquered the greatest empire in the world. But Alexander was not finished. His ambition was endless. He moved further east into Bactria and Sojdina, modern Afghanistan and Uzbekistan. There he married Roxana, the daughter of a local noble, to help unite his new empire. Alexander's next goal? India. In 326 BCE, he crossed the Indus River and faced King Porus at the Battle of the Hydaspes. Despite elephants and fierce resistance, Alexander won and even made Porus an ally. But his soldiers were tired. They had been marching and fighting for 10 years, across deserts, mountains, and jungles. At the Hyphasis River, they refused to go further. Alexander wept. Not for fear, but because there were no more worlds to conquer. Alexander agreed to return to Babylon, but the journey was brutal. He led his army through the Jedrosian desert, where thousands died of thirst and heat. Finally, in 323 BCE, at the age of just 32, Alexander died in Babylon, possibly from fever, poison, or exhaustion. His last words? To the strongest. He left no clear successor, and his empire soon fractured into pieces. But his legend lived on. Alexander's empire stretched from Greece to Egypt and all the way to India. He founded more than 20 cities, most named Alexandria. He spread Greek language, art, and science across 3 continents, creating a new era called the Hellenistic Age. Even centuries after his death, generals, emperors, and kings would look to him as the ultimate example of leadership, bravery, and vision. His life was short, but his impact was eternal. Thank you for watching this journey through the life and conquests of Alexander the Great. We hope you enjoyed this storytelling and learned something new about history, about ambition, and about the power of human will. If you liked this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know in the comments. What impressed you most about Alexander's story? Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and never stop exploring the stories of the past. See you in the next video.